Hey everybody, it's Eugene Alpherman from newscreative.net and welcome to the demo video for Showcase Billboards. Now, a quick introduction. Showcase Billboards is a collection of model rigs for Cinema 4D, billboard model rigs that will allow you to quickly and easily integrate a billboard into your project file and to texture it very quickly and easily. Now, because it's a preset, the way that you would load a preset is you would take the LRB file that you download and pop it into your Cinema 4D installation directory. In that directory you have library and then browser, and you would pop it in over there. Then next time when you go into Cinema 4D, you go to your content browser, you will see a folder called Showcase Billboards. Now obviously we have the V-Ray version as well, but in the demo video I'm going to be showing you guys the standard version. I'm going to open it up there. We've got the three-way billboard, which is a mighty tower of a billboard. The gantry, which is one of the most versatile billboards, and it's a little bit hard to see there, but we've got the street side billboard. Now, let's open up the three-way billboard. I'm just going to double click that and load it into a scene. And let's quickly talk about how it loads into the scene. First of all, it gives you the null object, which encases the entire billboard. Under the layers menu, or the layers palette, you will see that we've got a layer for the null, as well as a hidden layer. That hidden layer is purely there just to help organize the scene a little bit better. I'm not really fussy about it. You guys can tear this model apart and make it your own so much more, but it's just really just to help package it nice and neatly there. With every billboard comes an array of textures that are aptly named, and that will also be in the visible layer for that billboard. So if you want to go and tweak a little bit more and really get into the nitty-gritty of things, go ahead, help yourselves. But for the demo, we're not even going to go there. Under the attributes menu, when you click on the null, you're going to have a set of controls here that are going to allow you to very quickly and easily, just pressing H to get the whole billboard in the scene there, it's going to help you to very quickly and easily customize your billboard. Now, first thing we notice is the billboard loads in, and we've got numbered panels so that you know when you're changing certain billboard textures, you know which side it's affecting. Okay, you can see it's running a little bit slow in my viewport over here. And with every billboard, besides the street side, we've included in the display options a level of detail. As you drag that down, because everything is really relying on the MoGraph module, as I drag this down, I'm just going to leave it a very low number. You can see that the main structure of the billboard is here, but I can navigate in my scene very quickly and easily, and this is the beauty of the product. I'm not giving you something that's really detailed, but really slow in your viewport. This is super detailed, but so light on your system. When you bring that level of detail down, the MoGraph module actually generates far less geometry in the scene, and you are able to navigate and control this model so easily. Let's start off with the controls at the bottom here, since we're already on the display options. Level of detail you've already seen. Rotate's going to give you rotate on the H axis. You can scale your model up and down. Render instances, we've included this, as I said, because it relies heavily on the MoGraph module. It might just include or improve your render time, or the increase the responsiveness in the viewport by activating instances, as opposed to the MoGraph module generating different geometry for each of its things. So that's a nice little extra. Show billboard covering. I'm just going to bump up the level of detail again so you guys can see this. You can see it's running a bit slow now. Show billboard covering. That's going to take away the skirting at the bottom there. Obviously you'll need to take the lights away as well. You can't have these lights floating in the middle of the scene there. Show power box. You'll see we've got a nice little power box over at the bottom, and the cables connect to the power box at the top here, which light the billboard lights. So we can shut that off and it'll take it away. There's also a ladder on the side over here that'll take away over there. And then also with the billboards, you don't have to have all of the boards active. So I'm going to take away board 2. It's going to remove that one there. I'm going to take away board 3. And now you can see we've got a triangular board with only one board there. And I can take that away as well. So those are the display options. I'm just going to quickly turn them back on over there so we can see everything in all its glory. Lights on. Lights on is going to turn on a set of lights across the bottom skirting. It's not going to show in your viewport, just so that you know. And the reason for that is sometimes when you incorporate lights, if I had to add a light here, you'll see my whole scene goes very dark because it's relying on that one light to light the whole scene, and sometimes it can be a little bit hot work in your viewport like that. So we've just kept the lights off in the viewport, but once you render, they're going to shine beautifully. And you can change the color, you can change the intensity of the light. And as a little bonus, we've included little backup lights in the same place as the light, but it's really just to help illuminate the scene and to provide the volumetric light, which a lot of people really enjoy in their renders. So you've got two different light controls here. You've got one for the actual intensity, which is lighting up your board, but then you can change the volume intensity, visible light that you're going to see there, and you don't have to overexpose the board itself. You can change the amount of lights as well. I'm going to take that down to, let's say 3. Is it on 3? On 3, and you can see that the lights all update themselves here. You've got 3 that side, 3 and 3 in the back there. I'm just going to turn that off for the sake of it now. Board textures, we can do that. Each board texture has got a separate file that you can load in. Because 3 is in view here, I'm going to click on the ellipses there, and I'm going to select my 1800 by 600 picture. It's really the proportions that you need to be aware of. You can see I've selected my image, but nothing's loading. And the reason for that is all the boards have a standard color for front and back. So if I had to change this to a black or a reddish texture, you'll see that all the boards change to a reddish texture, and the texture at the back is going to be that color on the inside there. But the way to show the image is if you had to select show board texture, it's going to override the color, and then it's going to show the texture in the viewport, obviously in the render as well. So if your image isn't showing, just make sure that you have clicked on the show board texture. If there's no texture loaded, you can see on panel 1 here, and I select show board texture, it's just going to make it black because there is no bitmap image to load in there. So just be aware of that. I'm going to right click on the front texture, and I'm going to set reset to default so we can go back to our white. Under paint colors, you can change the paint color of the structure, which is all the metal bits. I'm going to change this green to a more of an orange. It might take a second or two, but then what you'll see is the whole billboard structure is going to change color. Wherever you see green, it's now going to change to orange. And there it happened. A few seconds later. Sometimes it might take a second too, just because of the amount of espresso that's controlling this big rig. And I'm going to change the skirting to a green color, so we effectively swap those colors around, and you will see that it's updated on all the sides there. Under measurements, I'm just going to lower the display option, just so that the measurement's going to go a lot quicker. Under measurements, we have controls to change the board width. And you'll see if I increase it to an extent here, the boards start intersecting over here. That's a better view. And as a countermeasure for that, we've included framing radius. So as you increase that framing radius, the boards are going to push away from one another. So you can have really large scale boards and they won't intersect. You can change the height of the board as well. I'm just going to show you that. So you can change the different heights. The height of the tower itself, if you want to move all the boards up. Let's zoom out and show you your new super high board or billboard. Ladder length. And this is a nice point to show you just how the board's actually working. I'm going to reset these to default quickly. Radius reset to default. The way the Mo graph is working in all of these boards, and you can see there's a gap there. Looks like a funny billboard. If we go around to the ladder here, I'm just gonna get a bit of a good view there. You'll see that as I increase the length of the ladder, for instance, I'm going to increase it, but whenever you changing the size of stuff, it's not going to stretch it, it's actually going to build. So you're going to see as we lengthen the ladder, it's going to add steps and it's going to remove steps. It never just squashes it, and it's the same with the billboards as well, the actual advertising boards, in that it never stretches things. As I increase the width of the advertising board, for instance, it builds more and more struts for the skirting, it builds more support beams. It never does a thing of just stretching it. So it's really, really cool, and it's flawless in the way that it works. I'm going to go to a new scene file here, and our content browser, I'm going to load up the gantry. Now, I said before that this is one of the most versatile billboards, and I meant it. This thing is like uber sexy in my mind. First of all, you've got, this is a two-sided billboard, and a gantry is typically something that goes over roads or over a highway or something like that. So you can actually have lanes of traffic going through the one side here and coming back through the other side. And it's a two-sided billboard. Starting with the display options again, let's just close it down. Under the display options, again, you can lower down the level of detail right down to 0 even if you want. You can still see the main structure, but to navigate around your scene is super easy. Super easy. You can scale this guy up and down, and you can rotate him around. Vertically offset build or advertising boards, what that does is, depending on the size of your board and the proportions, it might be a little bit too low down or something. So now what you're able to do is you have the ability to move it up or down and to really position that board exactly where you want. You can turn off the skirting below the board, you can take off the lights. There's a little power box and electrical cables on the right hand side. You can choose to take that off if you want. Now, the versatility in this board that I really, really enjoy is, at the moment it's a gantry, but what if you wanted a billboard, and I'm actually going to turn the lights back on here. What if you wanted a billboard with a single pillar? Very, very easy, in that you would just take off the side pillars. The minute you do that, you've got a new billboard with a single pillar that you can then change its proportions and get exactly the way you want. On the other side of that coin, if I show the side pillars, but then take off the center pillar, now we just have a standard billboard held together with two struts that would either go over a highway or over a road. But what it allows you to do is to bring in the sides and to totally change it. So just even as I'm speaking now, if I had to change the gantry width to, let's just say 2000, brought the sides in, it's a totally different board. I can take up the height here and then move it vertically up. And you can see immediately in a couple of steps we've got a whole new board, and it's looking totally different. As I say, if we take off the side, put the center one back on, it's a standalone billboard. I'm going to reset those down quickly. So it's really cool, and it's so quick and easy to get the different looks that you want. And we've spent so much time. I mean, it took about 2 months in development to build these boards, and then with the V-Ray version as well, Dewson from v1.0 was super kind enough to help educate me a little bit on V-Ray, and he did all of the texturing on that, so it's gonna show so much better in your production elements and how you integrate it into the scene. And the V-Ray version works just as well, if not better, when it comes to realism. I'm just going to quickly turn the side pillars back on, and I'm going to reset the gantry width here. Let's reset that as well. Same goes for the gantry as it does for the three-way, that you can turn the lights on, you can change the color, the intensity, and the amount of lights. You can obviously change your billboard textures as well. I'm going to load, let's do the same texture there. Board 1 isn't showing, you just have to click on show 1 texture, or show board 1 texture. You can see it pops in there immediately. You got your front and your back colors obviously as well. The paint colors for the structure as well as the skirting. And then under the measurements, we can change the height and the width of the advertising board. We can make it something really small and thin. Whoa, that's a bit too thin. You can see now that it's stretching the image. I'm just going to reduce that down just to explain the point. What it's going to do is whatever image loading, it's going to stretch to the corner point. So all you need to do is make sure that your proportions are right. If you have an image that's 500 by 500, just make sure that your ratio is 1:1 in the width. If you have something that's 1000 to 500, make sure it's 2:1, for instance. Let's go on to the last board, which is the street side. Now, the street side is going to be used for things that are a little bit closer to streets. So it's going to be like smaller adverts in relationship. Just to put it in perspective, because everything's to scale at the end of the day. If I had to load in a three-way board next to the street side, you can see immediately what the size relation is between these two. So just keep that, just be aware of that when you are designing and putting your things into play, that this board isn't like a super mammoth of a billboard. Just rambling on. First thing, under the display options, this street side doesn't have a level of detail just because of the amount of geometry that's generated. Felt it was a little bit redundant having to put a level of detail. You can scale this guy up and down, you can swivel him left and right. The lights for this one work a little bit different. When you turn the lights on, what's going to happen is it's going to load in area lights that are going to resemble fluorescent tubing, and it works so beautifully when you load in an image and you render out as well. I invite you guys all to check out the gallery on musecreative.net under the products page, and you'll see exactly what I mean, and it works beautifully with any image with those lights as well. What you're going to do is you can change the color and the intensity of them if you really want your fluorescent tubing to pop there, or if you want it to be very subtle and your board is almost more opaque and it's not as transparent, to let that light through. In the V-Ray version, we've actually worked on a subsurface scattering shader for the board, and the lights are indeed behind, and it's just beautiful. So thanks again to Juicin for hooking that up for us. Under the board textures, same thing as always. I'm going to load up a front texture. Let's use the same one. It hasn't failed us yet. I'm going to show front texture, pops in immediately. If I want to take it off and I want to just change the color of the billboard, I can do that very quick and easy. And you'll see that changes in a heartbeat. What we've done is we haven't chosen the option to remove the sides, because essentially it's just some fluorescent tubing in here. It's never exciting. The other billboards are a lot more rugged and the structure makes these beautiful shapes, so to take those boards off is cool, but not so much here. Paint color textures, you can change the color of the structure. Let's say we want to make the structure dark gray, and we want to make the stripe lighter color. So now we've got the inverse of what we just had earlier. I'm just gonna change the color of this Lumo green over here because it gets a bit much. Under measurements, you can change the height of the entire tower. The cap is the part at the top. The board width, you can extend that outward. You can change the board height. And then we've got an X offset. So at the moment, this would go next to a street that travels here. But if it's in a different destination, you want the board to go in the middle, you can just set that X offset to 0, and it slides right into the middle there. So that's just going to give you a nice unique feel for whatever style of board you want. And that's the beauty of it. There's 3 models in this pack, but there are countless possibilities. I don't really know what more to say about it. I think the amazing work speaks for itself, and it can incorporate into all of your projects so quick, so easy. You can get in, get out, and hopefully make a ton of money in the process. So I'm not going to ramble on. You've seen the goods. I hope that you guys are going to support it and buy the product. It's starting off at $39 on my website. And I just want to thank you guys all very, very much for watching. A quick thanks to Juicin again for doing the V-Ray texturing at v1.0. My name's Eugene Opperman from musecreative.net, and I will see you guys again next time. Thank you so very much for watching. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.